Hey guys, Crystal Dahaba here from Crystal Dahaba Art. It's Tuesday, which means it's a free art day, which means we just get to kind of play around and do whatever we want to do. And so tonight I am going to be making my rendition of a peacock feather on a painting. So I've got a 6 by, actually, no, make that a, I can't remember what size canvas this is. I'll have to look it up in a minute. But I think it's an 8 by 16 canvas. So nice and rectangular. And what I'm going to be doing is flooding the canvas with this beautiful Amsterdam manganese blue phthalo. So I know that's not quite the color of a peacock, but I've got some other colors here, and so again, it's my peacock, it's my rendition of a peacock, so it's going to be fun. And so give me a few minutes, I'll set up the camera, and then I will get started. Thanks. Okay guys, I'm back. So I had to charge my camera a little bit and get everything going, but now I am here. So I painted the edges of the canvas and the sides of the canvas because a lot of times when you flood them and then you do work on top of that, I just find that the sides kind of get neglected a little bit. So I always like to kind of take care of them first and show them the love, and then that way when you flood the canvas and you put paint over it, the sides still look really good. They've got then extra paint on them. So let's see. I am almost out of this paint, as you can probably hear. Let me get my spatula. But yeah, I find, like, you know, tricks like that, like painting the sides of the canvas, even the corners of the canvas, I just feel like is really beneficial for the way that the piece turns out in the end. It's cleaner, it's nicer, and, you know, we're artists, and, you know, sometimes we like to get messy, but when it comes to our work, we want it to look as clean and nice as possible, at least for me. That's how I like my paintings to turn out to be. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a good week. This past weekend has been, you know, full of soccer and visiting family and friends. Still trying to get over this back pain. If you follow me on Facebook, you know that I've been experiencing some strange, out of nowhere kind of back pain. And I've had back pain my whole life, and I find that art, it kind of helps me focus on fun things instead of like just sitting around and, you know, being in pain. And but it also, you know, when the new back pain comes in, especially where I have it right now is in my neck and my shoulders, I kind of find it difficult to even sit here and do art, and sit still and do art. So my art therapy is, I don't want to say it's hurting me, because it's definitely not hurting me, but it's not as enjoyable when I'm in a lot of pain, unfortunately. But, you know, when you really love to create and make things, you kind of take the good with the bad and roll with the punches. So I think that's, you know, maybe a motto a lot of people should use in their life. Take the good with the bad and hope for the best. But I do have an appointment scheduled with my doctor to try to figure out what's going on, because this is not a pain, like I said, that I've ever had before. All right, so I'm just gonna pop some of these bubbles. And like I said, I'm making a peacock feather painting, maybe. that's the end goal here. But as you guys who've been following me for a while know, I don't always reach my end goal. I start out with good intentions, and then I'm like, oh, well, that didn't go as planned. But then I end up with something beautiful anyway, which is what's so awesome about art. Okay, so let's see. Since it's a feather, you know, I don't want it to be straight. What I think I'm gonna do, and excuse the girl dogs are running around down here like little maniacs because their brother's outside, so you might hear them kind of whining here shortly. But anyway, so what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to go from this corner and I'm just going to kind of arc it around here, or maybe actually I think I'm just going to go this way, just based on how I'm sitting here as well. Shush, girls, Glory and Ira. So yeah, we're gonna go. They're like, oh, let's make some more noise. That seems to get Mom's attention. All right, now this is metallic bronze, and my next color is Amsterdam light olive. I don't know if any of you have ever seen a peacock feather, but it's definitely got some kind of a greenish hue to it. You know, the really cool thing about peacock feathers is that they're almost like a metallic, shimmery, shiny color. They're really gorgeous. This is a Amsterdam pearl green that I'm using now that I have found does not look at all like green, at all, not even in the bottle. But I digress. That is what it is called. Okay, and now I have Amsterdam's Reflex Green that I'm going to put on top of this. Okay, and now I have Arteza's Pearl Pistachio Green, because obviously I can't get enough green in my life. And then I have Amsterdam's Turquoise Blue. Oops. And lastly, I have Amsterdam's Turquoise Green. Now I think from just the way that this has poured out, that now this is going to be the bottom of the feather and this is going to be the top, just because of the way that my bubbles started here. So I'm gonna do this upside down, so bear with me. So I've got these little pieces of wax paper that I cut angles into. And I am just going to set it down on the middle of the piece. And I'm just gonna, I'm gonna attempt to swipe. Okay. And then I'm gonna go to the other side. Go. That was a better swipe than I got the first time. All right. So I'm going to move on to my next piece of wax paper. And I'm going to get this on here. I'm going to let it sit and then swipe. And do the same on this side. Swipe. Hopefully I cut enough of these wax papers. My dogs are now play fighting in the background. Swipe. stripe. Just doing these bottom pieces again to get the bottom pieces of the feather to be a little bit bigger than the top pieces. There we go. Trying to reuse a piece of this wax paper. Okay. And almost there. And this is looking kind of like a feather. It's pretty cool. And let's see. There we go. So now what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna start, I have a chain. So hopefully you guys can see how amazingly cool this feather looks and see how I kind of left the top rounded like a peacock feather. But I have this chain that I'm going to cut the end off of. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it in the paint starting about here. I'm going to try to create the middle of the feather so it looks somewhat like a stem. Just going to let that soak for a second. And I am going to very carefully pull. To the end. There we go. I was so afraid to talk during that. I was like, oh my gosh, if I talk, I'm gonna mess it up. But this looks so neat. I think I'm gonna take just a couple more pieces of the wax paper. I'm gonna cut them real quick, and I'm gonna see if I can clean up some of these feathers, if you will, at the end. Just kind of make them a little wispier. So I'm just cutting this wax paper so that you guys can see. I had a bunch of strips left over in case I needed more. This is so cool, and this was such a fun project. And it's funny, the thing I was worried most about with this one was like, am I going to pick the right colors? But I think these colors are just fantastic, and would really pop on somebody's wall. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do is I just cut this real quick, right? So I'm just going to take it down in here and just pull. I'm not going to touch the center because I really love the way the center looks. I'm just going to try to pull a little bit of the color out and up at the bottom, just to make it a little wispier. And like I said, I'm not going to touch that center because that just came out really well. Okay. Hush. So that's Blaze. You know, he interrupts my work meetings, my painting time, my sleeping time. Anytime he hears anything that he thinks he needs to bark for, he interrupts me. And I love him for it. I would not have him any other way, except for maybe a little quieter, just a little bit quieter. He's like, Mom, don't talk about me that way. So Blaze is a 6-year-old, well, 7-year-old now, beautiful Australian Shepherd. There we go. I'm going to cut one more piece because that one was just getting a little bit soaked with paint, and it was kind of curling at the edges. I'm half wondering if maybe a paper towel might have been a little bit better, or it actually probably would have absorbed too much. I like the wax paper because even though it does absorb the paint a little bit, it still maintains its integrity. It doesn't soak up too much of the paint. And then of course, then you're left with white spots on your canvas. Here we go. All right, so I just cut one more. I'm just going to go down here and continue making it wispier. Oh, look, it curled the very first time that I even tried to use it. Gosh darn it. So it's like, hey, go ahead, cut one more piece. You like wasting things. Wasting things is fun. All right, so let me see if I can reuse one of these other ones. Okay, so we're just gonna put it and slide it, and put it down and slide it. You guys are probably like, don't mess it up, but I have to have it just right, or I won't be happy. Here we go. All right, so this is really beautiful. I'm going to pick this little fuzzy that I see that has fallen into the painting out. And I am going to torch this because I see a few more bubbles. Just never like a painting to dry with bubbles in it. I like them to be smooth, not perfect. I think the more perfect a painting looks, the less realistic it looks. I like them when they're asymmetrical and a little messy. They're more fun that way. So I am going to bring you guys in here for a closer look. right after I cover that little spot, I think I'm going to have to make some more of this manganese phthalo blue just to do one more spot on the sides, one more coat on the sides to make it even more beautiful. But that'll be right before I like resin it after it dries, that I do all of that. I usually like to give them a few days to dry and really settle before I do too much other work to them. So I am going to cover this up real quick, or actually I'm going to move the camera, take a few pictures, then cover this up, and then I will see you in a minute. Okay, thanks guys for joining me for my Tuesday art night. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me make this feather. I certainly did, and I'm certainly thrilled with how it turned out. Totally gorgeous, really awesome colors, and I'm sure it's going to look great on somebody's wall. I have a feeling one of my daughters might steal this one from me. So I hope everybody has had, like I said, a wonderful past weekend, and I hope that the rest of your week is amazing and it is filled with love and laughter and happiness. I will see you guys for Friday night art night, where I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do yet, but it's going to be awesome. So again, thanks for showing up, and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell down below in the video, and just leave me a comment, say hi. I enjoy having you guys here. I enjoy getting to know everybody, and I enjoy making art. So again, go in peace. Have a wonderful, love-filled week.